staying with us or you are leaving?
No, I'm staying.
So, also the palace is close to all these important venues, like the theater on one side, it's on the left behind that wall, and the hippodrome. We're going to walk later in a moment in the hippodrome. The place called, hippos means in Greek horse, and dromos means race. So horse races, but the Roman eventually preferred the chariot races. Maybe if you saw Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur is a 4 hours movie. They don't do things like that today. And that's a new excavation. That's a part of the, you see there? That's really brand new. It looks like look at that. Maybe some people think maybe a prison, maybe part of the aqueduct. Here, see there. That's brand new. I'm talking of something brand new. Look.
A cistern?
Yeah, a female prisoner wrote that in the mud. Lord, in between brackets, Jesus, that means obviously, help Procopius.
Wow.
That's amazing, yeah? So some scholars believe maybe it's at the prison of Paul. Remember that Paul was on I would say kind of house arrest here. He had some of course, some very important visitors. The governor of the country would speak to him. We'll talk maybe, let's go that way, please. I wanted to show you something here. Follow me. Again, I'm also brand new to that. I saw it last time for the first time just a month ago. We'll wait and see until the research gives us more about that. Oh, I understand what you mean with a big stick. But we are in nature. We are in a nature reserve. You are not allowed to fish here. Come, I will make you a fisher of men. Come closer, guys. I wanted to show that stone. That stone was found in the theater. It was found reused. Understand that at that time stones had a value. Today we have concrete. When you break concrete, you cannot really reuse it. But at that time the stones were quarried. They had a big value. So if a building has collapsed, what do you do with the stone? Reuse them. You reuse them. And how do we know it was reused? Because it was in one of the walls of the theater, and when the archaeologists were working in the 50s, there were Italian archaeologists working in the theater, and they moved that stone, and they found the other side there was an inscription. Obviously, you don't make an inscription on the stone just for filling in a wall. So that means it belonged to another building, and the inscription helps us understand it is true. It belongs to another building because part of the inscription is still visible. Sorry, it's not on the right angle, but maybe you can read that T-I-B-E-R-I-E-U-M. It spells Tiberium. Usually a temple dedicated to Tiberius. Tiberium, like museum, a temple dedicated to the muses. Okay, and Tiberium. So it belonged to a temple. Okay. Second line is incredible. Something of a T-I-U-S. By the way, here's a small dot showing that is the end of the word, and another word starts P-I-L-A-T-U-S. I-U-S is Pontius Pilatus. Have you heard of that guy? I guess it's Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate. And you would say, okay, Tiberius, okay, the emperor. Maybe there were many Pilatus at that time. But the third line is more damaged, but we can really read E-C-T-U-S dot. So, Ectus I-U-D-A-E. Prefectus Judea. the prefect, governor of Judea. Guys, no, there's no mistake. We're talking of the one and only Pontius Pilate, who actually ruled under Tiberius and was the prefect of Judea. It's the only proof, evidence of the existence of Pontius Pilate in the world. We have a written proof, New Testament, Josephus Flavius, but again, archaeologists and scientists will tell you, no, we want to touch. If it's not written in stone, we don't believe it. There you are. There you are. That's one of the big battles of archaeology versus biblical archaeology. Some people say, oh, the Bible, we don't believe in that, or you have to believe in it. It doesn't mean it is true. It's beliefs, it's miracle, things like that. And some others say, no, the Bible is also a history book. And the fight goes always between, is it so or no? And from time to time, archaeology gives a little hint, a little gift. Sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better. Here's one the case of the only proof of the existence of Pontius Pilatus. At the same time we expect him, not of a temple that was built in a later period. We're talking of Pontius Pilate, who was the governor of Judea under Tiberius. And it fits with what we know of the New Testament between year 26 to 36. And he ruled here. And that's an amazing discovery. It's so important that is only a copy. The original is in the Israel Museum.
Good.
Okay?
Is that the only stone?
Sorry?
Is that the only hard evidence?
No, yes. No, the only hard evidence of the existence of Pontius Pilate is this one.
Okay. Wow.
Nowhere in the world. Yes.
I'm glad that's a replica.
Yeah, it's exactly.
I was gonna be scared.
It's a replica. Okay. So we are in the palace, guys. We are in the palace, and the palace has two levels. The upper level, that means the living quarter. It had a courtyard in the center. So all the rest was a kind of colonnade with probably apartments, maybe 2 stories high. We don't know. And then the second part that was lower, and the reason it was probably because of the aqueduct, because that's a swimming pool. And remember, the water has to go only one way at that time. There's no pumps to bring the water up. So the pool is in the lower place, because I would have built my pool here. In the middle, yeah. And up here. So we have a kind of natural peninsula with a private beach. Guys, if I'm an emperor, if I'm a king, if I'm very rich, that's what I want. And here the pool was here. See, it's still here. It still has water. Not any more fresh water of the past, but water from the sea. Amazingly, some of the pavement is still there and visible. Mosaics. Everything was covered with magnificent mosaic, and you can see part of it still just down below you. Can you see the outline of the pool? Yeah, a rectangular pool. Most of it was built, but the bottom was cut into the natural rock. So what remains, only the part that was cut in the rock. The rest that was built disappeared. You can see pieces of wall here, pieces of construction. Can you see the plan here, how it looked like? Amazing place. In the middle we see a square base, probably for a statue or for a water fountain or something in the middle. Then when Herod died, who lived here? When Herod died, who lived here? When the Romans divided the kingdom, they gave Judea to Archelaus. But the people complained, the Jews complained about Archelaus. He was, by the way, he was so bad that even the Romans accepted the complaint of the Jews and they deported him. They just deposed him, sent him to a luxury place in Lugdunum, which is Lyons in France today, where he lived a very rich life until he died. And they understood, the Roman at last understood, the Jews don't want any king that is not really of the descendants of David. So to better have more quiet, they decided to put a governor instead. And from that moment in Judea, there's a governor. That means someone who is appointed directly by Rome, who is ruling usually for 10 years. After 10 years, another one comes. And when you read the New Testament, we know already of two. We know about the Pilate, of course, and we know during the captivity of Paul, two Roman met him. Do you know the name? They are mentioned in the New Testament. Start with F and Festus. Felix and Festus are one. So Roman governors are here, and when Paul is arrested, he gets the visit of these. Now, guys, I want to talk to you about Paul. Who is that Paul? He's not a local. He's coming from? No? No? Shaul in Hebrew, by the way. Shaul, Paul of Tarsus. Turkey. He's Paul of Tarsus. He's not a local, but he's a very important guy. He's elaborate. He's a man of the world. He's very rich. Is it written he was very rich? No. But I will convince you he was very rich. First, when you have Festus or Felix who comes to talk to him, and the Bible literally says that they were listening to him teaching about Jesus in the hope, what? He'll give them money. Guys, the governor gets a good salary, I'm sure, especially at the time of the Romans. If you are making yourself so low as to speak with a prisoner, hello, he's missing a part, this helicopter. It's broken. How can he fly? Guys, you are the ruler of this land, and you are going to listen and be nice to a prisoner just in the hope he will give you money. How much money? We're talking of, if I'm the senator, I'm nice to some businessman. I expect the businessman not to give me $5, but $200,000, $1 million. That's already a clue. It's not enough. What was the job of Paul? Tent maker. Who buys tents?
Everybody.
No. Bedouin, they make them.
Okay.
The Bedouin, they make them,
Who makes them?
Who buys tents? The army. Imagine to be the supplier of the Roman army, and the army used a lot of tents. That's probably what also gave him his status, or his family status of Roman citizen, which was a very valuable. It saved his life. Remember that? It saved his life. He said, "I'm a Roman citizen. You cannot treat me. I can be judged. I can appeal to Caesar." And that's what he was doing here. He was waiting for his appeal. 2 years. He was a tent maker, and that allowed him, with his wealth, to travel everywhere. After he was proven innocent, and he could travel everywhere. Maybe for business also, but also he could meet and teach everywhere. Paul was a person who changed the little Jewish sect into an international religion. And it's interesting, he started from a port, from the gates. Remember, porta is a door, is a gate. A port is the entrance to a place. And it started here. So, in the same port, Peter opened the door by allowing a Gentile to become one of the community, but then he tried to close it later. He was afraid. And Paul said, it's too late. Open the doors and change it. And that's the reason why you are here, literally. Because of what's happened here. Peter and Paul, here in Caesarea. So in a way, it's good to start with here. Yes, question?
Is it possible that he made talits?
That he?
Paul, that he made talits?
Talit? Not sure. Not sure. But maybe he could make jeans for the miners. Remember, Levi's shorts, he had tents, and he turned them into jeans. Okay, but it's not written. Again, talents were used also in the community. A big thing. Someone has a talit, he will not change it. By the way, Jews, traditionally the man is buried in his own talit. So that's something that you cherish all your life. And then you are wrapped in this shroud, which is actually a talit. So I would say it would not be a big market talit, but tents For the Roman Empire, that's a big market. Okay. So let's go that way, please. We're going to walk now to the other part of the town, and we have to walk along the hippodrome. Okay, maybe if you pay attention, you'll hear the echoes of Ben-Hur. So it's a movie of 4 hours. Imagine 4 hours movie. What do you remember?
Chariot races.
15 minutes of chariot racing. That's it. Yeah.